Hey guys, what's up? It's Saturday. We're at the Breakfast Club. You know what that means? It's me, Sword Sage, hosting another episode of the Breakfast Club. And this time, I think I'm going to bring a hypothetical for you guys to think about. It's something that I have discussed with a few friends of mine. It's something that I've actually discussed surreptitiously with some people at my job. And it's something that I would like you guys to think about. How many of you guys are working jobs where you are sick of middle management? Sure, there's quite a few of you. No one really likes middle management, except for maybe the people in middle management. And even people in middle management don't like other people in middle management that they have to work with. People consider them to be unnecessary or annoying, and yet we still have to deal with them. In fact, some people even go so far as to say they don't like management, period, but we consider them to be a necessary evil. At least a lot of people say, like, well, somebody needs to do the marketing. Somebody needs to do the paperwork. Somebody needs to do the office stuff here or there. And I do agree that in some cases you need someone to get the office work done. But I would also argue, and this actually has been argued by people way before me, that not only are they not needed, but you can do away with most of them entirely, even probably the main management, and still get the job done. I see this a lot with labor-based jobs, or jobs like factory jobs or whatever, where you got a bunch of workers in there, basically working on a product, building a product, and then you got management. I mean, you got your leads and your supervisors, and they're basically needed to help make sure things are running smoothly, or at least in case things go wrong, how to quickly get things righted again. But then you'll have a bunch of other people who pretty much sit in the office for most of the day, and every now and then they come out on the floor and they come up with some new rule that completely screws everything up. And the people on the floor know that it screws everything up, but they can't argue with middle management, despite the fact that they have more knowledge on what's going on the ground than middle management. What they say goes, even though they have no real experience. Like, if you do this, it's going to fuck things up. No, well, according to the numbers, it works on paper. We'll get more productivity that way, or you guys need to do this. And it's incredibly stupid, and it frustrates the people on the floor. But what can you do, right? Sure, everyone's got some version of that story. Here's my hypothetical. What would happen if Americans one day actually decided to have enough guts to do away with all that and just get the job done themselves? Here's what I mean. Imagine a bunch of people working in a factory, and let's say what they make are, I don't know, lampshades. There probably isn't a lampshade making factory, but who knows, maybe there is. But let's just say, for the sake of what I'm saying, that there's a lampshade factory. And they make these lampshades for some other company somewhere that needs them for their particular lamps. Or there's other companies out there that really likes their lampshades and wants to add them to their lamps, right? And this lampshade factory has all these different patterns and different materials used, and some are higher grade and others are lower grade and cheaper or whatever. But you got all these different varieties and different classes of lampshade. Work with me here. And you got the middle management guys all, coming up with their own dumb rules that messes with production. Oh, and worse, they make more money than the guys on the floor, which ups the amount of the product, because of course they got to pay for these people, right? And yet the people who actually make the product make less and have to put up with more BS and whatever. Here's my thing. Why don't the factory, imagine if those guys working in the factory decide that they were not going to have, they just were not putting up with middle management anymore, pull their money together and start their own factory. Now, I'm not saying that this is perfect, but this is just a hypothetical. This is an exercise. I'm not saying that things will work off without a hitch. I'm just saying, just imagine this here. Do you really think you need middle management in order to make that idea work? Do you really think you need management in particular, or a whole lot of people in management, to make this work? Think about this. The people on the floor make the product. So that means they know exactly what it takes to make that product. What could go wrong, what goes right, how to make that product perfect. And they can do it without a hitch after a decent amount of training, right? They also know how much they can make in a day. But they know how much they can make in an hour, give or take a few contingencies. They know how much they can make in a day, which means they know how much they can make in a week, on average. And then a month, several months, into a year. Do you see where I'm going with this? The people on the floor know what they can produce. They know what they can produce, how and why. They know the ins and outs of it already. So that means they themselves can go to whoever they're making that product for and say, we can make X amount for you in this amount of time. Now, it shouldn't take them much to find out how much it costs to get the materials to make this stuff. And then, considering that, you got a few people out there who know basic arithmetic, they should also be able to then come up with a number, matching prices. First of all, they can find out how much the factory they just came from, because remember, this is hypothetical. All the workers decide to walk the hell out, make their own factory. They'll be able to figure out how much the competition that they just left is charging for that part. Considering that you just got rid of middle management, considering you got rid of all the greedy people who want to try to skim a little extra money off the top just for themselves, or the people who actually work on the product, are making less, they could probably come up with a cheaper price and still be able to put enough money in their pockets to feed themselves and have a little money left over to save. Right? So they should be able to come up with a fair price, but it will still give a higher profit for the people who actually know how to make the part. They know how much they can make, so they know how much they can market. And it's more money for them. And they know what they're doing. And it's their factory, it's their part, so they're going to be more motivated to make sure that they meet their numbers. You mean to tell me you couldn't make that work? There already have been, not many, but a few success stories where you've seen people just, fuck it, I'm doing my own thing. And they make it work. And everyone's happy because there's no one in there who's superfluous, who's wasting their time, who's coming up with dumb rules on how to make this stuff work. And it's not messing up the morale. And everybody's in it to make sure that they really, I'm sure you've heard so many times in your job, we're a family, we're a team, but it doesn't feel like a team because you're constantly working against, you always feel like they're coming up with some new stupid rule on high that just makes you feel even worse about how you're doing your job. Telling you how you can make the part, even though you know a more efficient way to do it. What you can wear, how you should act, all this type of stuff that just makes you feel like you're, constantly at odds. You're not really a team, you're just a peon. Well, here's a chance where you guys actually are in it together and nobody is screwing over anybody else, and you all are basically able to make enough money out of your own hard work, and you're all helping each other out to make sure that at the end of the day you all put in a good amount of work and you're going to get a good amount of profit out of it, and you're able to do it without some idiots screwing things up for you and taking extra money from what you're doing. So, thinking about that, how many of you guys actually think that idea won't work? How many of you guys really think it's a stupid idea? How many of you are afraid of doing it? I'm not saying that it's going to be incredibly easy, but I am saying that it could be possible. And it would be interesting if more workers, especially in this day and age, thought about that a little bit more. Again, just a hypothetical. I could be completely way off about thinking this way, but it should be interesting what you guys have to think, what you have to say about it. So that's it. Catch you guys later.